Welcome back here to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. My name is MasterS9886. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Today, we're doing a course play tutorial. I have been asked to do that, so we are going to be doing that. We are going to be breaking this up into multiple video parts for it here because each individual section takes a little bit of time. I am using course play version 6.03, I believe. I'm not too sure off the top of my head. It's a little bit old and I haven't updated it at all. But we're going to be doing that here. We are on the Ravenport map for this tutorial here. And we're going to start off with how to set up a harvester or a combine to run its course for you. So that is exactly what we're going to do here. Now there are two things you can do. Actually, there's really, two things you have to do first. First, you got to hop into your tractor that you're going to be using for your transportation here, whatever you're going to be using. So as you guys see here, we're going to be using all the in-game stuff that we got from the beginning here loaded up onto the farm. And we have this nice field here, field number 24, ready to be harvested here. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up two courses for this. We're going to have the tractor course that's going to go from here to the silo, which is over there, and then it's going to come back here. It'll wait until the harvester's ready to be unloaded. So the best thing to do is to figure out a perfect starting point for your course, because you're going to need to make sure you're in a place where you're not going to be in any way for the harvester. So we know that this harvester is going to be going down that way and back, so we kind of want to be out a little bit from the actual field for its starting point. I'm thinking somewhere in the middle would probably be a pretty decent starting spot. So what'll end up happening, actually, what I'm thinking, okay, so one of the things you got to think about how you want to place this. I'm thinking we're going to go, actually we're going to go in the middle over here. Might seem a little bit crazy, but you guys are going to see how it's going to go, because we want to make sure we're out of the way of all the equipment. The harvester, you got to make sure you factor in its space for the backing of it. So I'm thinking we're going to start and have it start from over here. That way we're out of the way from everything. And just keeping that in mind is that this will be used for this field anytime we do a harvest. So you kind of have to think what you're going to be having pre-planned for it. So we're going to come back. Let's get ourselves a little bit further out. That seems good right there. And what you're going to do is, if you don't touch any of the settings for it, right-clicking on the mouse will load that up here. And you see where it says course recording. You're going to just start that. And we're just going to make our run over to the silo here, because that's the first thing we're going to focus on. We're going to watch where we're going, make sure we're not going to hit anything, and make sure we're not going to be in the way of any type of problem. So we're going to come around the combine, make sure we're not in the way. And we're going to come over top of the silo drop-off. Now, you're not going to touch any button here. You're just going to drive over it. I usually recommend going slowly over it. But we're just going to go over that, and we're going to make our way back over to the starting point, which is going to be this way here. Now, because it's going to be a small field and we're only running one combine, we don't have, or one transporter, we don't have a problem overlapping these, but we'll show you guys. We'll actually pull up a bigger farm for you guys at some point, and we'll show you why you don't want to overlap. And we'll start and finish, we'll actually finish down this way. You want to finish a little bit away from where your start point's at, and we're just going to stop that there, and we're just going to name, what was this, field 24? Yeah, so we're going to name this field 24 to silo. And now that's in there, and we can just shut down the tractor for right now, because we're going to hop over into the combine over this way, and we're going to get the combine set up on the run. Now there are several ways that you can run a field harvest. I usually just do a very simplistic one. So you pull this up here. You have all these tabs right down here on the bottom. We're going to go for the one that says field work. It's right here. And then we're going to go course generation here. We're going to come up to field 24, that where we're at. We're going to select that. Now you do have a few options inside of here. So now it's automatically selected here. If you have multiple equipment, you can go ahead and select that out here. But we're going to be running just the one. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting headlands. I'm a very big fan of doing headlands. Don't know why, I just do them all the time. And I actually do, this is a 4mm working head. Now it automatically selects the head that we have on there, or the tool. If it doesn't, and you know for a fact it's a different size, just click that and it'll automatically sync it for you. But we're going to do 2 headlands around passes, and we're actually going to do it smooth, and got to pay attention to where we're at. So we're going to be going this way, so we're going to need to make sure we switch it to counterclockwise. Depending on where you start, you know, make that up. Headland passes, it just tells you where it's going to start. So if you want it to start on the passes, you want to do up and down rows first. It doesn't really matter. Usually you just do the headland pass. For the headland corners, what it does is how it handles the corners. So for smooth, it kind of just curves into it. Turn, it'll come up and it'll stop and it'll turn over this way and then come down. So you're making sure you get the corners nicely. If you have a big open area next to it, it's pretty good to do that. Most fields, like for me, if you've watched the Michigan farming map, I use just smooth. Makes it a little bit easier. And then for the field centering, there's, you know, it just determines how you want to do it. So for the racetrack, it'll go back and forth this way, making its way in. Spiral is similar, like kind of similar. I'm not too sure. I believe it goes from the outside and works its way around like that. And then up and down just goes back and forth this way. So it's all personal preference. I've been using racetrack a lot lately. And then we'll just click generate the course, and you see it'll have the course generated. And it's expected to finish right here in the middle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just save this here just in case. So it's going to be field 24. And then I'll usually mark it as a harvest. And then I'll put the size of the header. So it's a 4mm header, or 4-meter header. And now that we have that completed, we're going to get this started up on the course. So you see we have it. Make sure you're under field work. And then we're going to just start it at the first waypoint. And then we are going to just hit drive course. It'll unfold the harvester for you, and it will do everything for you. As you guys can see, it's going to be about 6 minutes to harvest this field, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to hop over back into the tractor here because we're going to get to work on this. And what we're going to do is we're going to just back up a little bit from our final waypoint there. What we're going to do is we want to make sure we're in the correct setting here. Now we just use this, which is just a standard like looping mode where we'll just keep looping it. We want to go into what's called combi mode, which is will go up to the harvester and it'll unload from it. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go select the harvester. So we're going to sit there. I've had problems all the time with using automatic search. What that does is it allows you to search by field number. I've never had luck with it, so what I do is I manually select it. And then I just do this. Now, since we only have one, it'll automatically come up here. But if you have multiple ones, you'd want to look for the distance, which is right next to it. And then we're just going to get ourselves started here. So we're going to hit and tell it to start with the next closest waypoint. That way we finish right up here at the end. And you see it'll come here, and it's going to wait for the fill level, which can be determined in this little tab right here. And we're going to actually tell it to come over here, and we'll do it there. And it's going to automatically drive up to it. What we're going to do is we're going to come over here. You see it's going to work its way around, and we're going to actually tell it to stop. I find the best way is when it says stop during unloading. I have that activated. I find it's always the best for me. It never causes me any problems. And sometimes you kind of have to tweak with the settings a little bit. If you'll notice, anytime in the video, we'll sit there and we'll be doing it. Next thing you know, you might see me pop up quickly and, you know, play with settings throughout here. That's all we're doing, is we're just doing that. So the stop unloading is just going to tell it to stop. As you see, it's going to come around here. And it depends. You're going to run into issues with course play. So right there, we're going to hop in here and just tell this to stop driver, because again, we got to get used to, you know, trying to have it deal with that situations there. We're just going to bring our way over here, and we're just going to put ourselves over here. Now our tractor should start up back on its spot. But as I said, it's one of those things you kind of have to get used to, filling out the settings and getting everything used to everything. And that should be good. So we're going to tell it to drive the course. And we're just going to keep an eye on it. If you think it's going to collide with it, you can always tell it to stop. So now this is going to go, as you see here, it's going to drive up to the back end of the harvester. So it's going to drive into the combine. And it's not the best field to actually do this. If you had like a nice big field, you can make it easier. As you see, it's going to drive beside, so it's going to drive right next to it. And it's going to put out the head, and you see there it's going to come to a stop. And then if you feel like you're off to the side a little bit, right here where it says the side offset, you can adjust right there. So it's going to unload. Now, ideally, the combine should wait until we're out of the way, and it should actually just back straight up. So you see it's going to back up and out of the way. Combine is going to wait. And what's going to happen is I think we're going to end up running to a situation where we're going to drive into the harvester. And I'm actually going to change this now that we're running that real quick. And this is going to drive to a waypoint where the starting point should be at, as you see. So it's going to make our way over here. It's going to get to the starting point. And once we're out of the way, you'll see the tractor start up again, or the combine start up its harvest again. And you see it's pulling up here, so now it's going to take that loop. And it's going to ride our waypoint that we gave it. And that course we created for the drop-off. It's going to bring it around here. And it's nice to have course play, because course play is all, you know, once it's set up and everything's running smoothly here, it actually makes it much easier to do everything. Now, as you see there, it says tip trigger reached. So it's going to drive over there, and then it'll eventually drop and fill into the silo. And just like that, tractor fills up, drops into the silo. It does work similarly if you want to run everything to a cell point. If you watch, I'll put a card up in the description, or in the top corner there, where we sat there and were harvesting potatoes, and we had a full multiple tractors going back and forth to the cell point for the potatoes. And you see there, it's going to come right up here, and it's going to come to the waiting point. And it's just going to wait till the fill level is reached that we set it to. Now, if we come back over here real quick to the tractor, I'm going to sit there and time-lapse this until it finishes up, and I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so one final thing about the harvesting feature that you have is you have the ability to request the driver to come over. So if you see here in the combine with the exclamation point, what we have is the ability to request a driver to come over, and it'll send a signal to the driver to begin the course. So it's going to make its way over here, and it'll get itself lined up for the drop off and loading into the trailer there. Now, if you decide you didn't want him to come, you can click the stop driver. I'm not too sure what send driver home is. I never used it. As you see here, the driver, it's going to come right up to the side of it, line itself up, and it is going to get itself unloaded. And then as you notice, we didn't hit the final position here. So what you could do with it, since we didn't have the technical start amount and leaving amount, if you go into this settings, or where you have the option to start and play the course and driver, you actually can click drive now, and that'll just hand the driver off to do its run without a problem. So you see it's going to just drive away for you, and it'll load into the course, drive up to the waypoint of the starting point, and you see it just took the course and it's going to run the course through and through. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that like button. We're going to have more coming to you, so be aware for that. Be watching for that. You want to see more for that, hit that subscribe button. You want to see any other tutorial, let me know down in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like the video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, and as always, I'll see you next video.